In this video, we will be going through the beginner content webinar, including public versus member view of the website, how administrators can create content on their website, and much more. For the content webinar, we're going to start on the homepage. Keep in mind as you do view this video, this is the design of our training website. So the design of your website may be slightly different depending on what you decided with your club for the final design of your website. In most cases, all clubs do have a logo located somewhere within their website, as well as a member login button, which allows members as well as administrators to log into the website. Below that, we have what is called the navigation bar. Right now, we are viewing our website from a public point of view, meaning that we're not currently logged into the website. So if anyone just happened to fall in our website, this is what they would see. Below that navigation, we have what is called our rotating images, and these rotate on our screen every few seconds. If we scroll down, you'll see our design has some additional text here, and we also have button links for common pages that we like our target audience to view in our website, such as our golf, dining, and weddings and events. Below that, we have some more text, as well as a link to our membership inquiry, and at the very bottom, we have our footer, which contains our usual contact information. Now, if we scroll back to the top, as I mentioned, this is our navigation bar here, and we're currently viewing this page from a public point of view. So right now, every page that we see right here is referred to as a public page. Once we get into the back end of the website, I'm going to show you how we can set security for a page. And the security determines whether a page will be visible to the general public, to your members only, or to both. With these pages, anything that is appearing directly on the navigation right now is referred to as a parent page. Now, if I hover over amenities, we get a drop-down, and these are now referred to as our child pages. Hovering over dining, we have our grandchild pages and our great-grandchild pages. Now, this is terminology we use here at Jonas. However, you can also refer to these by page levels. So for amenities, you have your level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Now let's go ahead and log in as a member. So we're going to click that member login button. And the image you see right here is referred to as our default banner image. Other than your home page, if you do have the rotating images, this default banner image will display on every web page. In this video, I'm also going to show you how you can actually change out a banner image for a specific page. So maybe you have your weddings and events page, you can actually change the banner image to reflect the theme of that page. So let's go ahead, and we're first going to log in as a member. So before I click that login button, just keep an eye on the pages that are appearing on the navigation. Right now we have 6 parent pages that we're seeing. However, as soon as we click that login button, you'll see we now have 4 parent pages. And that again is to do with the security, where these are now our member pages. Now for most clubs, the landing page for when a member logs in is Member Central. So if we hover over that, you'll see that Member Central will contain all the modules that you have with us. You also may notice that the banner image is different because we have changed this out for an alternative image. Now because Member Central is the landing page for most clubs, this is the first page that your members will see when they log into the website. In that case, this page is really great to post any information that you really want your members to see. Whether it be upcoming events or maintenance going on at the club, we want to keep this nice and fresh and up to date. On the right-hand side of our Member Central page, we have what is referred to as our Webparts, or also known as widgets. We have our upcoming weather, upcoming events, and upcoming birthdays. And I'm going to show you how you can actually configure those. Now if we scroll back up to the top, one other thing that will happen when we log in is our name will populate. And if we click on that drop down, you'll see we do have a few options, including logging out, which we do encourage yourself and your members to log out of your session once you are done. So now we're going to log out as a member and log in as an administrator. And let's go ahead and log in to my administrator account. Also, keep an eye on that navigation here as well. So note, as an administrator, we have access to see all pages, whether they've been set for the public, members, or both. In order to work on the back end of our website, we're going to click on our name, and we're going to click Switch to Club Central. Your members won't have access to this, it is just our administrator accounts, and this is how we work on the actual back end of the website. This is going to take us to our dashboard, which is made up of application squares that you use on a common basis for your website, including your modules and actually creating content on your website. If the application you are looking for isn't currently on your dashboard, all you have to do is click on this little globe icon on the far left, and that's going to open your application list. Then you can either click on one of your subcategories or simply start typing in that search box, and that'll pull it up for you as well. Your dashboard is also customizable, so we can pick and choose what applications we want to see here. In order to do that, you're going to click on the little gear icon located at the far right-hand corner where it says Edit Dashboard. Once we click that, you'll notice that all our application squares have now shrunk. Now maybe I decide I actually don't use BizForms often, so if I hover over that application, I can simply click that X and it's going to unpin it from your dashboard. Now if you want to add an application, simply click that plus sign. That will open up your application list. And anything that has this little white thumbnail means that it's currently pinned to your dashboard. So maybe we decide we actually do want to use BizForms. Simply hover over that, you'll see the pin appear, click it, it will bold and add itself to the dashboard for you. You can also rearrange the order they appear as well, simply by clicking and dragging. Once you've customized your dashboard, make sure you click back on that gear icon to take them back to their regular view. If you do have all the applications you want here, you can still reorganize them as well, again simply by clicking and dragging. Now to the top of our dashboard. Anytime you click on this little house icon, it will always take you back to this dashboard. Beside that, you will see the name of your club. And beside that is the name of whatever application you are currently on. So right now we're currently on the dashboard. Then if we go over to the right, we have Live Site. Clicking the Live Site button will open your live site in a new tab for you. This can definitely come in handy while you're working on your website to see your changes in a nice big view. Let's close that. Next we have this E3 Help button, which will open our help site. If we click that, sometimes you may have pop-ups. If you do, just make sure you enable them. And in regards to content of your website, you're going to focus on the websites icon. In here we have lots of resources available for you. We have the knowledge-based articles, educational webinars, which are free for you to attend, as well as a video library. If you can't find what you're looking for, you have specific questions, please feel free to reach out to our Jonas Software Support found right here, or our Club Systems Group support found right here. And lastly, the little person icon, clicking on that is going to show you who is currently logged in and also allows you to sign out. So we do encourage you to sign out after a session instead of simply just closing out of that browser. Now, in order to work on the back end of our website in regards to creating content, we're going to look at the Pages application score. Right now, we are currently in a split screen view. On the left-hand side, we have what is referred to as our content tree. At the very top where you see there is a different icon here in comparison to these ones, this you will see your club's name, and this is referred to as your root level of your website. Below that, from my login down to my email subscription page, right above these little folder icons. So those are your password pages, your module pages. These are pages we don't want to touch or delete. Because imagine if you accidentally deleted that login page. Your members and yourself would no longer be able to actually log into the website. Same with these folders found in the middle here. Most clubs will have a site design and uploaded files folder. And the site design folder has all your styling, coding, and formatting for your website that was done by our graphics team, including the background images for your website. So again, please don't touch or move anything in these folders or these pages. If you do need assistance, please contact support and we'll be able to assist you. Now, we typically try to help arrange your content tree the same way, but yours may look slightly different than what you see here. Now, the way we've set our tree up is that any pages found below those folders, so from home down, are the pages we're actually using on our website. Now, the way they appear on that content tree from top to bottom is how they appear on your navigation from left to right. Then remember we had our page levels, okay, our parent page, child, grandchild, and great-grandchild. In order to see that on your content tree, simply click the plus sign and that's going to expand your page levels for you. There we go. On the right hand of that split screen at the top, you'll see we have the content editor. So this is what you'll be using as you create content on your website. You'll find that it is very similar to most editors, including Microsoft Word. Then that space right below the content editor is the actual page that you are currently working on. We're going to start with building a parent page. So remember, a parent page is one that appears directly on this navigation. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and go to the very top of our content tree and be selected on our root level. And you'll know you're on a page when it is highlighted in blue. Then what you're going to do is click the plus sign above the content tree. In most cases, we're going to use the page menu item when creating pages on our website. We can go ahead and give our page a name. So this is going to be our What's New at the Club. Then below that, you'll see you have a lot of templates to choose from. Notice here that these are responsive templates because our website does have a responsive design. And what that means is that our website will scale down to fit whatever size screen it's being viewed on. If you don't have the word responsive in here and you are interested in a redesign, please reach out to our support team and they'll get you in touch with the right department to give you more information on getting a redesign for your website. As you are looking at the templates, you'll see you have a nice little thumbnail preview right above that. So for example, for this template, it's letting us know this is a 20 by 80, so 20 column by 80, and it has Webparts located on the left-hand side. For today, we're actually going to go into our responsive templates with Webparts, and we're going to use the one with the Webparts located on the right side. Now, keep in mind, as soon as you save this template, we cannot change it. So if you are new to creating pages on your website, you can definitely come in here, create some templates, test them out, see what you like best. Then you can simply delete them after and make your fresh ones. So let's go ahead and click Save. Your new page will always be found at the bottom of your content tree, and we can see that's on the very far right of our navigation. Now, if you want to move a page, so maybe we want What's New to actually appear right beside About Us, we're going to use these up and down arrows located above the content tree. So we're going to go ahead and move that What's New page up, right under About Us. You'll notice it did move on the content tree, but we haven't yet seen it move on our navigation. In order to see that change, simply do a nice refresh of your page. And there's our What's New at the Club. So let's go ahead and select that page. While you are editing a page, you want to make sure you are on the Edit tab, as well as the Page tab. So that way, if we scroll down, you'll see you do have the editable content boxes. Now here you'll see a content box located right at the top of the page. This content box is usually reserved for the header, such as like the title of your page, but you can also use it for other information as well. Just below that header, we have that nice 80 column, 20 column, and those web parts. Now, before we do any editing to our web page, the first thing you want to do is set the security settings for that page. So, i.e., who do we want to have access to view this page? To do that, we're going to navigate to Properties, and at the very bottom, you're going to click on Security. Then within Users and Roles, we're going to go ahead and click Add Roles. Now the easiest thing to do here is actually switch the items per page from 10 to 25, as it will list all the roles for you. Now there is quite a few roles here, but the 3 main roles that you will use throughout your website are as follows. First, we have Everyone. That means that this page is visible to everyone, whether they're a public audience or they're a member logged into the website. So for example, the home page. Next, you have Members. This role is used for your member-only pages. So this page will not be visible until a member actually logs into the website, such as your Member Central page. And lastly, we have our not authenticated users. This means that the page is visible to the general public, but as soon as a member logs in, that page actually disappears, leaving more room open in the navigation for you to create member-only pages. An example of what we could use the not authenticated users role for is pages such as membership pages, where a member doesn't actually need that information once they're logged into the website. For this page, we're actually going to go ahead and choose Everyone, and let's select. Once you've added your role, we need to make sure we assign them their access rights. You can do that by selecting that role, and in most cases, all you have to do is allow them to read that page. Then, if we scroll down to the bottom, we have this requires authentication. If you are making a members only page, we need to make sure we switch this to yes. And that means that if someone is trying to access this page, they have to be logged in order to view the content. And if they aren't logged in, they will be prompted with the login page. If you are using the everyone or not authenticated roles, we can leave that at inherits no. And requires SSL, we never touch that, so we're just going to leave as is and go ahead and save our changes. Now let's return to the Page tab. First, we're going to start off by customizing our web parts. So if we scroll down our page, in order to work on a web part, you're simply going to click on the name of it. So we'll start with our weather page, and that's going to bring the drop down. So you have a few settings you can configure here. You can choose to include wind information if you like. For your location, simply put your city and state or province, unit of measure, Fahrenheit or Celsius, and days. So we can choose to show between a number of 0 to 5 days. However, the more information you are showing, the more your target audience is going to have to scroll. So we like to recommend maybe 2 or 3 days worth of upcoming weather. Then you have the city name. So whatever we enter here is what's actually going to display as the title for the web part. So you can go ahead and put your club name if you like, or you can put your city. Then once we're satisfied with that, just make sure we click this visibility box because that's what's actually going to enable this web part to appear on the page. Next, we have our calendar at a glance. So if we click there, the first option we have is to set the time frame in days that we want to display on the web part. This web part is actually pulling events from your calendar. So if it's busy time of the year and you have 2 or 3 events taking place per day, maybe we only actually want to show 7 days worth of events. Then you choose how many events you want displayed within that time frame. So again, maybe we have lots of events taking place, so within those 7 days, we want 30 events to display. You can choose to display those dates in short format if you like, and then we can pick the max events displayed per page. So if we actually navigate to the live site, and let's go to Members Central, let's take a look at that upcoming events web part. Here we can see we're actually only displaying 3 events per page. Again, it's to help eliminate that scrolling, and from here we can actually click on these little numbers to view the future events. So if we go back to the back end of our website, let's change that max events displayed per page to 3. Then you have the categories. We can choose to show all the types of events that are taking place at our club, or maybe you want to use a template with the web parts on your dining page. We can actually uncheck show all and select just dining, so only our dining events will actually show on the web part. However, let's change that to show all. In order to turn this web part on, we would also click visibility. However, keep in mind that if this is an everyone page, which we have set up now, only our members are actually able to see the upcoming events and birthdays web part. So maybe we decide we actually only want to use the weather web part on this page. I'm going to not check that visibility so we can leave it invisible. And let's click out of there. And lastly, we have the upcoming birthdays. This works very similar to your calendar at a glance web part, where we can set the time frame in days. Out of that time frame, how many birthdays we'll display, and how many birthdays you'd like displaying per page. Also, whether you want that web part visible on your page or not. In regards to the upcoming birthdays, in order for those birthdays to actually appear on this web part, they must be configured to be shown in the roster. So let's click out of there and go ahead and save our changes. Now, even though we have updated our web parts, you'll see that we don't see the weather appearing right now. In order to see that weather, you're simply going to switch to preview mode. Preview mode is how the page will appear to the target audience once it has been published. It basically allows administrators to see the changes before they are published to the live site. So if we scroll down, there's our weather web part. Now let's go back to edit. Next, we're going to take a look at how we can change that default banner. Because as I said earlier, you can change the banner image for a page if you'd like to reflect the theme of that page. In order to do that, we're just going to click Alternative Editable Image, and you're going to go ahead and click Select. We want to make sure we're on the Media Libraries tab, which is basically the online storage for your website. So any media that you do want to use on your website must be added here first. The file formats that can be uploaded to your media libraries are JPEG, PNG, and PDF. We also strongly recommend doing any edits to your media before uploading it to your media libraries, such as your cropping and your resizing. This can be done in any editing program, including Paint, which most computers do have. Now, we do also encourage you to make folders within your site media, which you find here within your media libraries, to help better organize your files. It's very simple. You simply click the folder that you want to add your subfolder to, then simply click that plus sign, name your folder, and save and close. 3 folders that we do recommend making are what you see here. One for your PDFs, one for your images, and possibly one for your banner images. Now, if I click on my banner images folder, I know there's images in here, but I don't currently see them on my screen. And that's because we are in a split screen view. So if I actually scroll down, you'll see all my files here. Now, in order to get that to the full screen, you're just going to click on this little gray arrow, and that's going to bring that drop down for you. Now, before you do upload your images, we also encourage you to label them. That way, you can actually come in here, do a search, and that'll pull up your file a lot quicker than having it a jumble of letters and numbers. In order to upload a file, make sure you are on your correct folder, and go ahead and click that upload button. Then simply select that image or file, and if you want multiple, hold down that Control or Command key on your computer and click Open. Now, if you already have added an image in here, but you can't remember what it looks like, simply hover over that little thumbnail icon, and it will show you a preview. Or if you like, you can switch to Thumbnail View, which will show you all your images in a nice little thumbnail preview for you. But let's go back to our list view, and we're going to go ahead and select the contact banner. Then we can click back on that gray arrow, and that's going to bring the split screen again for us. If you are changing out your default banner, the recommended file size is 1900 pixels wide by 400 pixels high. The reason for this is because that size will fit nicely across the largest size screen. And if you are responsive, it will scale down nicely to fit the smallest size screen. Again, make sure you are doing the resizing and cropping prior to, and we never want to adjust the width and height here. Because if you do, what will happen is it will actually lock that size of that image, meaning that no matter what size device I'm viewing it on, it will always be that sized image. So again, if you need to change that size, do it outside, then re-upload that image and you're ready to go. Also note that once you have added a file into your media libraries, you don't want to move or delete it. Because if you do that and you're currently using that somewhere throughout your website, you're going to end up with a broken link icon because the file path will be broken. Now that we have our image, go ahead and click Select. Our file path will then be placed here for us, as well as a little preview of our image. Now we can go ahead and save our changes. The banner image will not appear right away while you're in edit mode, so we just have to switch to preview mode to see those changes. And there's our new banner image. Now, maybe you decide you actually don't want to use this banner image, or you simply want to return to your default banner image. All we have to do is go back to edit mode, click back on that alternative editable image button, and clear those changes. Just make sure you save again. Remember, we don't see that banner switch right away, so simply go back to your preview mode, and you'll see that we've returned to our default banner. Now let's take a look at inserting an image directly into the content area of our webpage. So we'll switch back to our edit mode, and you're going to start by placing your cursor where you want that image to appear on your webpage. Then on your content editor, you're going to look for this little film strip icon where it says Insert, Edit, or Image or Media. This will also open up our media libraries. And for my image, I'm going to find it in my images folder. You'll see we also have images here. Remember I said if you do label your files properly, you can do a nice search. And that will pull up your image for you. So let's select our map. And you'll see when you are inserting an image directly into a web page, you do have a couple options you can play with. First thing you can do is set the alternative text. This text will display if this image is not loading properly on someone's web browser. So for example, this is a map. Remember, we don't want to adjust the width and height of the image from here. But if we scroll down, if you like, you can set a border width around your image. Note that this is measured in pixels. So there's a 15 pixel border around our image. Then you can go ahead and set that border color. If you do know the hex codes of your site, you're more than welcome to enter them here. If not, or you don't know what a hex code is, simply click on this little palette icon, and that's going to give you your color options. So maybe we want blue, and that's going to generate your hex code for you. And just save and close. Then if you like, you can choose to include some padding around your image, between the image and the text. So maybe we want some horizontal spacing, also measured in pixels. So there's spacing there. And we want some vertical spacing. There's our spacing here. And lastly, if you like, you can choose to align this photo between your text. So maybe I want this photo to appear on the right-hand side of my text. However, at this time, I don't want to use any of these options, so I'm just going to go ahead and clear those. Now that we're happy with that, I'm going to leave that alternative text and we're going to save and close. And there's our image. So don't forget to save as you're going along working on your website. Now let's actually navigate to our live site so we can see that page we created. However, even though we've created it, we're not actually seeing it on our navigation right now. So if I go to the back end of our website, that page isn't appearing because we haven't actually published it yet. You might have been wondering what these colorful icons are on the content tree. Anytime you see this little green check mark, that means that this page has been published. The red X means the page has not been published. And the yellow diamond means the page was published, but we've gone in and we've done some edits, and in order for those changes to appear on your live site, we just must republish that page. Now keep in mind, publishing a page is the last step. You want to make sure you've set the security for that page and you have all your content up to date, because once we do publish, it will be visible on your live site. This is very simple. Just be selected on that page and click that publish button. You'll see that the icon will change right away for you. And now if we actually navigate back to our live site and do a nice refresh, there's our what's new at the club. So we can now click on that and we can see the image and the upcoming weather web part. Next, let's put some text onto our web page. If you like, you can definitely place your cursor and start typing in. Or maybe you're like me, or you're coming from a third-party website, or you actually just have everything prepared in a Word document, we can go ahead and copy that. So let's highlight our text and do a nice copy. As I do that, I just want you to notice the formatting you see here. There's some bold, there's some different sizing, and there's also some color. So we never actually want to just paste our text directly into a web page. Instead, what you're going to do is place your cursor where you want the text to appear. Then on the content tree, you're going to look for this little clipboard icon with the T to paste as plain text. So we select there, we can paste our text. Notice that the formatting is still here. However, as soon as we click OK, it removes all that formatting for us. This is very important to do every time you're pasting copied content, because what it's going to do is it's going to reduce the number of coding problems that may occur with copied content. As you are working on your content box, what you can do is actually click this little 4 arrows, and that's going to maximize your working space. Now that we have our font here, we can go ahead and style it. When you are styling your font, we also suggest using this format dropdown that includes your heading tags. These heading tags were designed by our graphics team for you and are the default fonts for your website. So we strongly recommend using these heading tags because it will create a nice consistency throughout your website, especially if you have multiple people working on it. And if you ever do end up changing your fonts, it's much easier for our graphics team to change those heading tags as opposed to you going in and changing the font on every page. Applying those heading tags is very simple. Just highlight your text. Titles we usually reserve for heading 1. Subtitles you can do heading 2. And heading 3 can also be used for subtitles as well. Now, anything you don't apply a heading tag to will automatically be set at normal. So let's go ahead and save those changes. Now, if we take a look at those heading tags we put, even though we did apply the heading tags, you'll see they're just appearing as black and a bit different sizing in edit mode. In order to see the actual formatting for those, we're just going to switch to preview mode. And if we scroll down, there's our heading tags. Again, remember, your heading tags will appear as whatever the default fonts were set for your website. Now, a neat thing with the preview mode, if you do have a responsive website, is you can change what size screen you are viewing this on. By default, it will automatically go to a desktop view, but if we click on that drop down, we can actually see what this is going to look like on a mobile device. So here we have our mobile, so we can scroll down, and you've got a nice little scroll bar on here as well. As you are working on your web pages and you do have a responsive design, we definitely encourage you to switch to that smartphone view every once in a while because the view that you're seeing on the smartphone is going to be different than the desktop view. Now let's go back to our edit mode and let's take a look at our live site with our new text. So if we go here, do a refresh. If I scroll down, you'll notice we're currently seeing that text we entered. One thing to note as you are viewing your website in the live view is this message at the top here, letting you know that you're actually currently in preview mode. So right now we're seeing the changes before they've been published. So if we actually close out of that preview mode and we scroll back down, we'll see that we only actually see our map and our web part. That's because even though we've made those changes, we haven't yet published that page. So all those new changes that we have made are not currently visible on our live site. Okay, so we'll see that yellow diamond here. Remember, in order for those changes to appear, simply do a publish of the page. Now, if we navigate back to our live site and do another refresh, make sure we close out of preview mode. We scroll down that page, we can see our text is now appearing on our live site. Now, just a note in regards to using tables on your website. We do encourage you to avoid using tables whenever possible. Why? Because tables aren't as mobile or responsive friendly. You only want to use a table if absolutely needed. So for example, if we go to our membership page, the only time tables should be used if you're trying to show information or content that needs to be laid out in a grid. If you are making a table, do not use fixed pixel widths, i.e. like 600 pixels. For any clients going through a redesign to responsive, you ideally want to redo your pages and content that currently use tables because not all tables that were made previously will be responsive, or it is best just to not use them at all. Instead, you can actually pick a template that has 2 or 3 columns and use that more so as a table. If you do have older content in a grid that you would like to keep, please make a new table as we have improved our tables to be at least functional within a mobile device. But this new functionality only takes place with those newly created tables. And now we're going to look at creating a child page under our What's New at the Club parent page. So remember when we created our parent page to appear directly on the navigation, we were selected on a root level. In order to create a child page, we're going to be selected on our parent page, and then we're going to go ahead and click that plus sign. Back to our page menu item, and this one I'm going to call our Hyperlinks page. For our template for this page, we're just going to go with a responsive and our basic responsive. Let's go ahead and save. And there's our child page. Now, maybe you want your parent page, the What's New at the Club, to be visible to everyone, but we want our hyperlinks, our child page, to be visible only to members. So remember, security is the first thing you want to set for your page, so we're selecting our hyperlinks. Let's go to Properties and Security. Right now, if we tried to click on that Everyone role, we can't actually remove it. That's because every page you make will inherit the security permissions from the parent page. Now, in order to change that, we're just going to click Change Permission Inheritance. And you're going to choose the first option, which is to break that inheritance and copy those parent permissions. Now, we can go ahead and select that Everyone role and click Remove. Now we can add our members only. So, clicking Add Roles, changing the items per page back to 25, and let's select members. Remember, we need to select that role, make sure we allow them to read that page, and because this is a members page, we need to make sure we set the requires authentication to yes. Then go ahead and save your changes. Now let's go back to our page tab. And if we scroll down, you'll see that the basic responsive just gives you a nice simple content box in here. So for this one, I also have my text prepared. So let's go to our Word doc, and if I scroll down, by the name of the page, you might have guessed, we're actually going to look at how to set up hyperlinks on our web page. So let's go ahead and copy that text. Remember, we're going to look for our clipboard icon with the T to paste as plain text. Paste our text in here and click OK. First, we're going to start off with an external hyperlink. So for example, maybe you want to have a link where if your target audience clicks on that, they're going to be taken to an external web page. To start, we're going to highlight the text that we want to use as a hyperlink, and in the far bottom left-hand corner of your content editor, you're going to look for the little chain link icon where it says Insert Edit Link. For our external link, we're going to switch to the Web tab, and your protocol will usually remain the same. However, if you do need to change it, you do have some options here. Then simply type in or copy and paste that URL. So we're going to do pga.com. And an important thing, especially when you're doing an external link, is to make sure you set this target. Now, we like to set that to new window. What that means is when someone does click on that link, it's actually going to open that in a new tab for them. That way, when they are done viewing that website and they close out of that tab, they're not closing out of our website. Then we can save and close. Now you will know you've set a hyperlink because it will be the usual underlined and in blue. Just note that we can't actually click on them from edit mode, but we will when we go to test them all out at the end. Now maybe you want to link to a photo. What you're going to do is start by placing your cursor and actually adding that photo. So let's go to our film strip icon, and I'm going to look for my Facebook logo. Let's select that and save and close. Now that we have that image, to set the hyperlink, you're going to go ahead and click on it, which highlights it just like we did the text. Go back to our chain link icon. Because we're doing an external link, we're going to return to that web tab, and let's put in our URL. So this is our Facebook. And remember, we want to set that target to new window and save and close. Now, maybe we want to link to a PDF. Okay. So again, we're going to start by highlighting the text we want to appear as our hyperlink. Click on that chain link icon, and this time we're actually going to stay within the media libraries. Now we're going to locate our PDF. Then if you need to, upload your PDF, or if you already have it in your files, go ahead and select that. We don't need to worry about the protocol and URL, but because it is a PDF, it is a really good idea to also set that target. This one we like to do new window as well. Again, remember, that means that when someone clicks on that link, it's going to open it in a new tab. So when that person is done reviewing the menu, when they close out, they're not closing out of our website. Another thing we can do is create a button link for this PDF. So instead of just seeing the text, it's actually going to turn that link into a button. To set that, you're going to go to the Advanced tab, and if we click Style and click Tab, you'll see you have this button styling. And let's save and close. Now we don't see the button styling in edit mode, but we will see it when we go to preview our hyperlinks. Now maybe we want to set a link for an internal redirect, meaning that when someone clicks on this link, it's going to redirect them to somewhere else on our website. So if we scroll down, let's navigate to our golf page. So clicking back on our chain link icon, this time we're actually going to switch to our content tab. Then all you have to do is locate the page that you want to redirect to. So this one, we're going to go to our golf page, and we don't have to worry about changing that protocol or URL again. And if you want, you can set your target. However, because this is an internal redirect, we don't have to. So we're just going to do a save and close. And lastly, maybe you want to set up an email hyperlink. That way, when someone clicks on that email, it's going to pre-populate an email for them as long as they have an email program set up on their computer. So, for example, let's do our events at club.com. Going to click on that chain link icon, and we're going to switch to the email tab. Now, your only mandatory field is the to field, so we want to make sure we put our email in here. Everything else is optional. And whatever you fill out will actually populate when someone clicks on that email link. So one field I do like to use is the subject line. That way, when someone clicks on that, it pre-populates the subject for them. So this can be for our golf event. Then go ahead and save and close. Now that we've set all our hyperlinks, make sure we save our page. And you can definitely test all your hyperlinks through your preview mode. However, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to publish that page and test those out on our live site. So we'll go ahead and publish. Then let's open our live site and just make sure we do a nice refresh. Now let's go to our What's New at the Club hyperlinks page. So the first link we set up was our pga.com. So if we click that, notice how that link opened in a new tab. Again, that way when we're done viewing it, we can simply close that tab instead of closing out of our website. Then we had our Facebook page. Now, if you have hyperlinked a photo, you'll notice that the cursor may change depending on when you actually hover over that image. That way you know that image has been hyperlinked. There's Facebook opening in a new tab as well, so we can close that. Then we've hyperlinked our dinner menu, and remember we set that as a button link. So this is the styling that was set up for our website, so yours may look slightly different. Now we can click on our dinner menu, and there's our PDF in a new tab. Next, we did a redirect to an internal page within our website, and that was to our golf page. So there we go, that takes us right to our golf page. And let's go back. Lastly, we set up our email. So if you click on that events@club.com, remember, as long as you have an email program set up on your computer, we have that to field populated for us, as well as the subject, or anything else that you did choose to fill out for that hyperlink. Now let's go to the back end of our website, and I'm going to show you how you can update the footer for your website. First thing you want to do is go to your root level, and scrolling down, you'll see that you have possibly 1, 2, maybe 3 editable content boxes for your footer. So all you have to do, make sure you come in here, update that information, save, and publish. Now, if you do have a custom homepage, which means you do have rotating images on your homepage, you also have to update the footer on the homepage as well. So we would update it on the root level, then we would select our homepage. Because updating the footer on your root level will change all your pages, whereas updating it on the homepage will only update the homepage. Now, you'll know you have a custom homepage if you have those same editable content boxes for your footer. So make sure you update those, save, and publish as well. If you don't have a custom homepage, if we go to any other one of our pages, and you scroll to the very bottom of the homepage, you'll see that you actually won't have editable content boxes, which means you don't have a custom homepage. So you only have to update your footer in the root level. Now let's look at changing the name of a page. Maybe you realize that the name you've created for that page is actually very long, so it's taking up a lot of room on your navigation. Or maybe you kind of accidentally made a spelling mistake. In order to change the name of a page, you're just going to switch to the Form tab. And where it says Document Name, we can go ahead and let's shorten that to What's New. Make sure we save our changes. Remember, in order for those changes to appear on your live site, we also must publish that. So now if we go to the live site and let's do a refresh. The title of the page is now What's New. Just keep in mind, if you do change the name of a page, it does not change the hyperlink, so that will still remain as the original name. Now let's go ahead and take out some not so visual properties for your web page. So we're going to go to Properties and we're going to start with General. This provides a brief breakdown of your page. Basically, it's just used for information only and you don't actually need to do any editing here. On this page, we can see who created this page and when it was created, who modified it and when it was last modified. And if you scroll down, you can even click on this live URL, which will open that page directly in a new tab. Next, let's take a look at metadata. This is where you can come in and add details which will be displayed in the organic Google search results if the page is found in a search. These settings will automatically be inherited from the root level, but you can simply uncheck that inherit and fill in those details. Note that page titles do have a positive effect on your SEO rankings. If you do need help with this, please reach out to our support team and they will be able to assist you. Let's checkmark that again. And next, we're going to go to navigation. So note that if you do make a change on a web page and you didn't save those changes, you will get a pop-up asking you to either cancel to stay on that page or OK to continue. Now, since we only checked and unchecked a box, we can go ahead and click OK. Here we have Show in Navigation and Show in Sitemap. Show in Navigation means that this page is actually visible on the navigation of our website. Now, maybe you want to start working on a page whether it's only going to be shown for a seasonal basis or you're just not ready for it to be visible on the live site. You're going to uncheck Show in Navigation. So, for example, if we expand our amenities page and we scroll down, right now we currently have our ski club and it has been published. However, if we go to our live site and we hover over amenities, we actually don't see that ski club. The reason for that, if we click on ski club itself, you can see that Show in Navigation is unchecked. So again, you can come in here and create this page and we can publish it, but we can hide it from our actual live site. Show in Sitemap is basically the index for your website if you are utilizing it somewhere within your website. Let's go back to our What's New. Then you have the menu actions. And by default, a page will be set at standard behavior. Now what that means is if I go to our live site, I can click on What's New. It will actually take you to the page itself. Now if we try and click on amenities, see how we don't go anywhere. That's because if we look at the back end of our website and we select amenities, we have this set as an inactive menu item, meaning that it is showing on our navigation, but we can't actually click on that. Instead, it just provides us a drop down where we can actually click on the child pages instead. Back to What's New. And lastly, we're going to look at versions. Think of this as your big undo button. In here, we will find our last 10 saves and publishes. Anytime you save, it will be marked by a decimal point. And anytime you publish, it will be marked by a full number. So keep in mind, as you are working on your site, you don't want to save too often, just in case you want to roll back to one of these versions. So for example, maybe you've made your first publish, and you've shown your boss, and he thought it was great. Then you go in, make a few changes, publish that, and your boss says he actually likes the first version better. All you have to do is click on this little arrow to roll back to that previous version. Now, maybe we decide we actually want to delete this page because we don't want it on our site anymore. Just note, if you do delete a parent page, it will delete any connecting pages. So if you did want to keep this child page, the best thing to do is move that. So to do that, we can click on that page. Then beside the arrows above the content tree, you're going to click on this little paper icon with the arrow where it says move. Then all you have to do is locate where you want that page to move to. So maybe you want this to move to our amenities. It is good to set that preserve page permissions, that way the security settings will remain the same. Then go ahead and click move. However, at this time, I actually don't want to move this page as I do want to delete it. So I'm just going to close out. In order to actually delete the page, you're going to go ahead and select it. Then simply click on that trash can. We don't have to actually check mark any of these boxes. We can just click yes, and that's going to delete your page. Now, maybe you decide you actually do want to have that page on your website. What we're going to do is navigate back to that dashboard and go into our recycle bin. In here, we will find all the pages that we have deleted. If you do want to bring back a child page, note that you also have to bring back the parent page as well, otherwise you will get an error. If you want to bring just that parent page back, you can go ahead and click that arrow to restore that page. Or if you're bringing back multiple pages, simply check mark those boxes, scroll to the bottom, and we want to make sure we're on selected pages and restore. Then go ahead and click OK. Now that those pages have been restored, let's go find them on our content tree. So going back to our dashboard, back into our pages application, and the page you did delete can usually be found right where we removed it from. Just note, anytime you do restore a page, you do want to make sure you check those security settings because those are usually wiped out when you do delete a page.